So I wanted to just kind of go through this book from start to finish. I'm not gonna give you so many details because you guys gotta buy the book yourself, but just to give you guys an idea of what you're gonna get from this book. That's what you're gonna get from this video. So first things first, price at $199. Is it worth $200 American? Now, here's how I'm gonna break it down to you. If you are a Greg fan, right, and you wanna get coached by Greg, but you can't afford Greg, and I'll tell you now what Greg has to offer is worth it, because obviously supply and demand, people are demanding it, he can charge the price he does. So if your ultimate goal is to get trained by Greg, but you don't have the funds to do it, this book is worth it because of the value put into Greg. Now, for somebody who doesn't even know Greg, and you know, if this was in like, say, a chapters, would it be worth that much? I don't know, but is it worth the value that's in this book? I'll say yes, and here's my reason why. This book itself, from start to finish, and I'll tell you everything basically that's in it to a degree, but what you're gonna get from this is a very good understanding of hypertrophy, time under tension, progressive overload, to a degree where if I had a client come to me and they said that they've been using Greg's book for Harder Than Last Time for the last year, this will push you past the beginner level. Now, looking at this book through two lenses, myself as a coach, you know, when I look at this as a book, this is basically kind of replacing the one-on-one aspect of it. So this is what you get, and you should be able to do this on your own. So for me, I have to look at this as, if this is going to replace me, what is it going to have inside? It should have everything from that, from training, motivation, recovery, injury prevention, mindset, so forth. So this book should have all that in there. Does this book have all that in there? Yes, to a degree. So I want to kind of break it down to you in the sections. So how this works basically is, you know, you have like your obviously introduction, your mindset part on there. There's a part of cardio, obviously the diet, and then weight training. The weight training part is a lot. So for like sheer just volume of like quality and quantity, this is 100+ page book of absolute gold knowledge. Now, things I would have done different with the book. The first part of this, you're gonna have like a really good, you know, obviously there's a intro, it's gonna tell you all about Greg. Those of you who follow Greg will probably already know about Greg in the first place. One thing, first things first, it is a long read. If you don't have an attention span to read like a lot of material, this is gonna be a hard read for you when it comes to patience. But this book needs to be read front to back. And when you do read it, it is and does have everything you need when it comes to training. So when you're starting off, you get your introduction, your bit about Greg. You already know Greg because you've been watching his videos and everything else. Then you get into the mindset part. What I would have done different than mindset. So basically, you need a mindset introduction there. That's going to kind of give you, you know, the right way to approach training. So the best way to approach Greg's training book is through this part, this mindset part here. There's a lot of reading there. This is a really cool part that if you do read it, you do feel like you can basically tackle the world at the end of it. So there's a good part in there where you actually feel, throughout this book, you do feel like Greg is actually talking to you. That's the beauty of it. You do feel like when you're reading it, you hear Greg in your head talking to you. But this one part in here, I think that he could have had, because there's links throughout this to actually click onto to get some help, I think this mindset part there should have been like a video type thing, more so than you reading it. You know, if you do read it, it's great, but it's like people, you know, most people don't have that much attention span, so they won't probably read all of this at once. They probably might skip around, hop around, and then find some things, or will miss a lot of things. This whole part here, instead of been written, had been more of a video directed to the reader. You know, him saying, you know, don't be a moron, make sure you train harder than last time. You know, this is the mindset for this. This is how you should approach training. Here's, you know, your expectations of, you know, what you should expect from your first year training, or your this and that. And it goes through those things in there too. So he goes through a lot of really good detail of how you should approach his training, your mindset, how you feel in the gym for those who are beginners. All those things. I think that part would have been cool if it was more directed at the reader, but through like a video. You know what I mean? It's that simple. It's an online book anyway. It's as simple as making a link. I know it's not gonna be a personalized thing, but at least you get that feel of, you know, when you're watching Greg's videos, he's not talking to you personally, but it feels like he's talking to you personally. So that part I would have changed. The part about cardio, I do like. It's very basic and very honest. There's a little part in there about classic cardio, everything else, and you know, how you should do cardio, your approach during cardio, how you should do cardio throughout just different, you know, training splits and so forth. So there's a lot of info in there. Like I said, this is very, very full of info. You will definitely be able to just follow this and make progress. What I didn't like about this book, and this is one thing I don't like, and this for those of you, here's another notch I don't like. The training part is very thorough, but the injury prevention, stretching, warming up part was very vague for me. So for me as a coach and working with people one-on-one, my thing is, you know, we want to make sure that the athlete never gets hurt. You know, God willing, they never get hurt at all. But you know, it's gonna happen eventually, but we can always minimize those things by having a really good habits for proper warming up and then proper cooling down, and obviously some mobility work, some tissue work that you can do on your own. If you're looking for a training book with the fullness of having that in there as well, just as much as training, you're not going to get it from here. So if you're looking for mobility, flexibility, and you know, examples of those things, you're not going to get it from this book. So I'm just going to help you right now. Don't get it if that's what you are looking for. But it does give you some very small pieces of things that you can do to avoid injury. Basically, you know, depending on how old you are, if you had different injuries in the past, he gives you good tips on those things. So there is an element there of, you know, recovery and injury prevention, but I would have liked there to be a lot more. There's 100+ pages in there. The training section is massive, full of information. I think that he could have spent a lot more time there. There's not even like any parts in there to like give you, here's an idea of what you should do. You know, even some like a couple examples for, you know, you can do that would help for warming up or to keep your shoulders warm or whatever. But it does go into, you know, how to warm up before a set, getting your heart rate up. Obviously, that's the most important thing, is getting your heart rate up. And for the most part, even for me, if I'm training, if you're someone who's building muscle and training all the time, performing the exercise to warm up is almost as good as warming up. But the more you get into it, the more I feel like you should have more tools there to help with injury prevention and recovery, mobility, and all those things, because that's basically what's going to keep you going as long as you can go, is by being injury free. So if that's the case, I think that should be there more than anything else. But now, looking at it from two different lenses. Now, looking at it from like a coach, you know, is this something that I could give to one of my athletes and say, hey, this would help you? I would recommend you take or use this book to help you out. Can I do that with this? 100%, for sure. There's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of real good basic information that, to be honest, this is all you need to know. Like, this is a really good book to say in the least that it doesn't overcomplicate things. Me and Greg have worked together before. We're almost same in the sense where we try to basically explain things at a very basic level. You know, speak a language that people can understand and can follow. So you're not gonna get a ton of stuff in here that you're like, what the heck is that? You're gonna get a lot of information in there and a lot of things you have to pay attention to, and you have to read the book. You know, another couple cool things I really like in there that he has in there is he keeps you accountable to read the book, which is dope. You know, certain parts that he'll basically tell you, you know, read the damn book, which is good because, like I said, there's a lot to read. If you're, you know, one of those kind of people who don't have an attention span to watch a video for more than like 2 minutes, like we watch the analytics and stuff, right? So when when I see like, oh, your watch time, your video went up, it's now 5 minutes, and it's like, oh, so my video was 15 minutes, great. You know what I mean? It's like, you're not gonna, you know, if you have a problem paying attention for a long time, you know, this will be a little bit of a challenge to get through it, but I do recommend that you definitely get through it and, you know, follow the instructions on there. It's easy to follow. It has step-by-step processes in doing the workouts, how to pick workouts. If you're a beginner, intermediate, whatever, there's all that in there. So if I thought someone could pick this book up and this training book and has never worked out in a day in their life, I think that they could get through this with the help of definitely the steps that are in there. There's some links that are in there as well too. So if you're stuck on some certain things, and I think some of those links are there on purpose because of those are probably the ones that are obviously asked a lot. Those are there for you to get help. So that's one thing I do like. One thing I would have added as well is a picture reference on some of those things. The exercises, I would say, they're not overcomplicated things where they have these long names where you're like, what the heck is that? For the most part, you can basically Google every single one of them and obviously it's there. So I'm nitpicking a bit. But again, it being something that's like a PDF file online thing, click a link, it's right there, it's that simple. I thought that would have been a good thing to have in that. But, other than that, the book is good. I'm gonna do 2 parts of this. So I'm gonna do another video on this where I'm gonna actually do the actual workouts. See if I can actually, go through this and follow it with ease. And I wanna judge this based on how easy it to follow. And if I follow this and work hard, will this plan be challenging enough for me, obviously as a pro and where I'm at? And then I'm gonna get one of my athletes that I coach to actually do this. I'm gonna get one of my regular, athletes who just wanna have a good physique, be healthy, and look good. I'm gonna put them through it and see if it challenges them and if they can easily follow it. So I'm not going to help them with it. I'm just gonna spot them. So I'm gonna let them just follow it themselves and do it, and then see how they like it and see how it goes and see if it's easy for them to follow, see if they can actually get a challenge from it. So you'll get a better understanding too of what's it like. You'll be able to see somebody test run it for you. So we're gonna be the test runs, the guinea pigs for you guys. And that'll be on the next episode. So if you wanna see that video, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Also hit the notification button so you're the first person to see it when it gets posted. Also for coaching, hardcore.training02@gmail.com, and use my code Johnny20 at IamMutant.com. My sponsor, Mutant Supplements, IamMutant.com, 20% off using my code. Anyway, until next time guys, keep dream chasing. Peace.